Manchester United 1, West Ham 0. And we are off to the quarterfinals of the FA Cup. What a boring game, what a horrible game, what a terrible game as a fan. You wanting to be entertained, you cannot watch Manchester United for entertainment. You can't. We literally perform like this every week, literally. Put away the 9-0 from Southampton, which, if you really want to go into context, we know why we had a 9-0. Put away their performance. This is how we perform most of the times. Most of the games, this is how Manchester United perform. We are not a good footballing team. When the onus is on us to break down a team like it was today against West Ham. West Ham had a clear plan, which is a negative plan, but also you have to understand from their point of view, they don't have the players to come up against us. They don't have the players to go hit toe-to-toe with Man United. Our players are far superior to West Ham's players, far superior. So I can understand a bit why David Moyes did set up like that. He set up very negative. It was negative football. He parked the bus and he wanted to hit us on the counter, not even on a counter attack, because they had no one to hold the ball. They had Yarmolenko, and Yarmolenko went off injured, but he can't hold the ball. He's not fast enough to play on the counter attack. So it is literally just, let's defend. Let's defend with 10 players, and let's hope that we can get a smash and grab. That was literally the plan from David Moyes, and it was successful for 90 minutes. Had they performed like this in the Premier League, we would have drawn this game. Because for 90 minutes, we couldn't open the door. 90 minutes, we couldn't create any chance. We didn't create many chances. In 90 minutes, I think we created probably like one chance or something like that. But that's our Achilles heel. That's our Achilles heel. And it was a problem for us last season. Coming into a new season, the problem still has not been addressed. Because this problem does not get solved by individual brilliance. This problem does not get solved by you just getting a top class player. This problem gets solved by coaching. And that is one thing that we do not have at Manchester United. We don't have a proper level of coaching. We are one of the biggest clubs in the world. As one of the biggest clubs in the world, we should have the best coaches in the world. We don't have that. It has been clear. It is still clear. We don't have that. So we just go with individual brilliance. That has carried us so far. But it's not sustainable. And people will say, in cup competitions, it's not how you perform. It's all about getting the results. I agree to a certain extent, but this is too early in the cup competition to be grinding out results. It's too early. You can grind out results when you at the semi-final, just to get to the final, and then in the final you need to perform. But now you can't be grinding out results. We perform poorly, and if we continue this performance to the next round of the FA Cup, which we're in the quarterfinals, provided that if we meet opposition that are close to our caliber, we will lose. This performance was really poor, a poor performance. A performance that you could see that we rely on individual brilliance, because yes, when Bruno came on, he didn't set the world alight, but there was a small shift, even in the mentality of, even you could feel it in the West Ham players and the West Ham club as a whole. They knew that we just brought on Bruno Fernandes. So with Bruno was shooting, and Bruno's always a threat. And what I want to also say, speaking on Bruno, his position, Donny van de Beek, I want to get something out to the people. Donny van de Beek only had a couple games, does have a couple games to play for us. Most of the time he comes off the bench. When he's not coming off the bench, he's playing in cup competitions, and he's been harshly judged upon, and he's substituted within those games, because a lot of the times when Donny plays, we're not in a good place. In the 90-minute game, we're not in a good place. So we have to sub Donny and then bring Bruno on, and then we end up winning the game, as was the case today with West Ham. It's very hard to perform like that as a player when you know the manager does not have confidence in you. When you know any wrong foot that you put, the manager is going to look hard upon it and he's going to substitute you and bench you for the next game. It's very hard to perform like that when you know you're under the microscope. Very hard. Very hard when you don't have confidence. That takes confidence away from you. And not playing also takes confidence away from you. So it's not easy. He doesn't have confidence. But what I will say, apart from that, just look at his ability. Donny van der Beek has very good technical ability for a possession-based team. A team that has a system and a style of play. He will do well in those teams. He comes from Ajax. Ajax are a total footballing team. They created total football. The Dutch nation created total football. They play total football, and Donny is Dutch and he's from Ajax. So he comes from a rich heritage of total football, possession-based football, systems and style of plays, all of which we do not have. Everything at Manchester United is off the cuff, and that's why players like Bruno Fernandes do so well, because he himself plays off the cuff. He himself plays off on the edges of games, where in the whole game you won't see Bruno, but all of a sudden Bruno will come up with a moment of brilliance. That's Bruno Fernandes' game. And Donny's not that player. Donny has to be involved. He's a possession-based player. So if you put Donny in a team like a possession-based team, like any team, like Bayern Munich, Real Madrid, Barcelona, Manchester City, yes, he won't set those teams alight, but he will look a good player. Because he's very tidy in possession, he doesn't give the ball away. So in highlighting Donny's strengths, let me also say this, that if there is some fans that are saying, you know, we need to bench Bruno for Donny, understand levels in football. And Bruno is a level above Donny. Bruno is a level above Donny. Yes, maybe as a total footballer, because Bruno gives the ball away a lot. His passes sometimes are hit and miss. As I said, he plays on the cuff. He plays on the edge of games. However, Donny is a possession-based player. Bruno decides games for you. It's like comparing it to the team. You have a team that keeps the most possession in a game, in a 90-minute game. That team finishes the game with 70% possession, but they lose the game. What point does it have in possession? So, Donny keeps possession, fair and well, but Bruno decides games for you. Bruno scores goals and he has the assist in him. So understand levels. We cannot bench Bruno for Donny. In no way, shape or form should we be benching Bruno for Donny. Bruno has to start games for us. Period. Donny van der Beek needs to compete with Scott McTominay or Fred. One of them have to drop out for Donny, because Donny is better than both of them. He is better than both of them. He needs to displace one of them. And currently, Scott McTominay is on form. Scott McTominay is playing very well. I'm not a fan of Scott McTominay, but I show no biasm on my channel. And I'll call a spade, and when someone is performing well, I will pick them up and tell them they are performing well. Scott McTominay has come into form. It wasn't always like this. The beginning of the season, he was atrocious. But now he has come into form and he is playing very, very well. So no one can take his place in the midfield. No one. He's playing very well. And Scott McTominay is a shooter, guys. He's very good in shooting. Like, he literally is very good in shooting. A lot of the times his shots end up in the back of the net. He's a very good shooter of the ball. And so, in saying that, so most probably Donny will have to look at taking Fred's place in the midfield. Of which, as I said, Donny is better than Scott McTominay and Fred. But you can't take Scott McTominay out because Scott McTominay is on form and he's playing well. So if the one you're going to take out, it has to be Fred. It has to be Fred. So that's where Donny can fit in. But to say that Donny must play ahead of Bruno, you can't do that. Understand levels in football. Bruno is a level above Donny. Bruno literally decides a game by himself. By himself, Bruno can win you a football game. And Donny can't do that. Donny's a team player. Donny plays in a system and he plays very well in possession. One-touch football is brilliant. His understanding of the game, his IQ, football IQ is brilliant, but that's what you expect of Dutch players. All Dutch players are very intelligent players. All players that come from Ajax are very intelligent players. So, and yeah, that's on Donny van der Beek. He didn't have the best of games, but as I said, it's very hard for you to have the best of games when you know that every mistake you're going to make, people are going to look hard against it. When you know that your performance is on the microscope, it's very hard. So I'm not going to judge Donny too harshly. He never have a good game at all. But who did have a good game? Not one player can come off their pitch and with their head held up high, but Scott McTominay. And which Scott McTominay only came on, well, whenever he came on, but he came on late in the game. But he's the only player that can hold his head up high. No one else. Literally no one else. It was a poor performance. An atrocious performance. But you see, guys, when you, like, speaking on West Ham, when you set up so negative like that, and you set up parking the bus to stifle opposition, when that doesn't work and the opposition break through, you can't come out after that, because you already set the team, the formation, the players to play according to that tactic and that plan. And when that plan doesn't work out and the opposition end up scoring, after that it rains goals. More often than not, that's when teams go on to win like 3-0 and 4-0. Because that team that parked the bus cannot react after that. The only plan they had in that game was to stifle an opponent. They can't come out, and that's what you saw against West Ham. When we scored our goal, even before we scored our goal, when the 90 minutes, it was drawing to the 90 minutes, and after the 90 minutes extra time, West Ham could not come out. They could not, they tried, but they could not come out because the plan from the get-go was to park the bus. It's very difficult to change that. It's very difficult to change that. That's why you have to hope that it does work. And when it doesn't work, it's too difficult to change it. When you saw that, when we scored, the onus then was on West Ham to come out, and they did not even trouble us. They did not even create an opportunity, because it's difficult to shift that mindset from parking the bus, now we go attacking. It's very difficult. And also another thing I want to point out, Declan Rice. There's rumors United are looking at Declan Rice. We do want a CDM, so there's rumors we're looking at Declan Rice. Guys, let's leave Declan Rice at West Ham. Declan Rice is a good player for West Ham. He's not Manchester United quality. I've watched him many a times. This is another game where I had microscopic view on him, watching him with a magnifying glass. He performed well, but at a level for West Ham. He's not at the level for Manchester United. We need best in class. Declan Rice is not best in class. He's good for West Ham. Let's leave him at West Ham. See, same like Harry Maguire. Harry Maguire was performing good for Leicester. We should have left him there. We made a mistake by getting him, paying 80 million, and now look. Now we've got an 80 million defender that is not world class. That doesn't have the potential to be world class. That is not one of the best in his position in the world. Then that's a problem, because we spent 80 million on him. Now all of a sudden we need to buy another centre back because he can't organize the defense and he can't hold everything together. Whereas when you pay 80 million for someone, for a defender, like Liverpool paid 75 million for their defender, you should not be buying another centre back. You should not, because that defender should be solving most of your problems. Harry Maguire has not solved any problem for us. Nothing at all. We still leak goals. We still make mistakes. He's a culprit for making mistakes. So Harry Maguire, at point I'm making, he performed well for Leicester. He's supposed to stay at Leicester. That is his level. Let us not make the same mistake now with Declan Rice. He's performing good, but he's performing well and good for West Ham. That is his level. Let us not interfere with Declan Rice. Let's leave him. When you compare Declan Rice to a top class CDM in Wilfred Ndidi, it's chalk and cheese. Ndidi is a level above Declan Rice. So if we are looking for a CDM, we need to go and get Ndidi. That's the player that we need to get. But United will not do that, because our policy with this manager is British players. That's his policy. British players. And we would love to even pay 70 million for Declan Rice. I'm telling you, United would love it. West Ham put that fee on his head. United will go there with a smile and say, there's your 70 million for Declan Rice. As we did with Maguire. 80 million they called for, we gladly paid it. What fools we were, because he's not even worth 60 million. He's not even worth 50. He's a 40 million defender. we will gladly pay the money for Declan Rice. So I don't expect United to be going and signing another CDM. The CDM that I know United will sign will be someone like Declan Rice. And Declan Rice was responsible for our goal that we scored. He gave the ball away. He miscontrolled the ball. As a result of that, we broke on the counter and scored a goal. Now, I'm not going to judge him harshly on the mistake he made, because I have said and I still maintain that Declan Rice had a good game. But that was the standard for West Ham. It is not the standard for Manchester United. It is not. So that's all I want to say about Declan Rice. We go to the next round. Not sure who we're going to play. We'll see who we're going to play, but we go to the quarter-final. This is imperative for Oli, this competition. We knocked out of the Carabao. Yes, we're still in Europa, and we need to win it, but Oli needs to put his hands on silverware this season. For me, finishing the season without silverware is not good enough. You can't have 2 seasons and not finish with silverware at a club like Manchester United. Even in your first season, if you don't win silverware, you need to get sacked, because that is the standard of every other top club in Europe. But we know we don't have any standards at United. We know that the standards are very low at Manchester United. All I'm saying is, this season, Oli cannot finish with no silverware. He has to win silverware. FA Cup, we need to go and win it. We are not even supposed to be in Europa. So I'm not even kidding about Europa. That's an embarrassment that we are in Europa. That is failure on our side that we are in Europa. We should have never got knocked out of the group stages. Never. That is an embarrassment. So I'm not even worried about Europa. I'm saying FA Cup, we need to win it. I understand Manchester City are there. I don't care about them. We need to win it. So Oli needs to go stronger. It's clear and evident that we need Bruno Fernandes, and it's clear and evident that we need our best players on the pitch at all times, because we don't have a system and we rely on individual brilliance. So in the quarterfinals, yes, it's important game, so I expect us to be going with our full strength team. The danger of us now with this West Ham game going to 120 minutes, playing to 120 minutes, it's dangerous, because now the players are fatigued. We're playing again on Sunday. I think we're playing West Brom, and you're gonna see fatigue coming in the players. You're gonna see. I don't think you're gonna see a high intensity game. I don't think you're gonna see an energized game. I don't think you're gonna see an entertaining game, where we never play entertaining football. But I think even more so, you won't see it, because the players are coming off from playing 120 minutes. Marshall, Rashford, Fred. Wan-Bissaka wins off, but you can include Wan-Bissaka. Our defenders, they've all played 120 minutes. So I don't really expect a top class performance on Sunday. But be it as it may, guys, cup competition, as I said, you need to win. Doesn't really matter how you win cup competition, you need to win. We've got the victory. I want us to win this cup. I'll see you all on Sunday.